Hi Gear Nerds. Like most of you, I've been watching the videos by Justin Sandercoe of Justin's Guitar. Seems like a great guy, and he's got loads of teaching videos about every topic under the sun. You could say he's one of the biggest guitar teachers on the internet with 1.5 million subscribers. However, I have to take issue with one of the main messages that he delivers on his channel, and this is his mantra that practice does not make perfect, practice makes permanent. He says in one of his latest videos, you need to practice perfectly, and to practice perfectly, the way to do it is to slow down. He then gives examples such as writing computer code, saying that it's better to get it right the first time rather than spending hours debugging it afterwards. Well, there are times that this works, there are also times that this doesn't work. In fact, most of what we learn in life is not done by doing it slowly and perfectly, it's done by trial and error, repeatedly attempting something at full speed until it works. Consider your first steps when you were a baby. Was there any breaking down of the task into small chunks? Was there any attempt to do it slowly? Absolutely not. Babies can see other people walking and copy what they think is happening. And after their first few steps, they fall over. They didn't practice perfectly. But after that, they get up again and keep trying. Nobody suggests that firstly they need to work on some ankle exercises first and get those perfect slowly. Nobody suggests that they need to break down the task into smaller chunks and get those perfect first. And nobody stops a baby walking imperfectly. No, it's just go for it any way you can. How about learning to catch a ball? Believe it or not, there is widespread debate and multiple theories about how to catch a ball. As you can probably see immediately, there is no way to slow down this skill. You can either catch it or you can't. We can't practice this slowly. We can talk about how people do it, but basically it's the same thing. Just do it and see how it works out. In fact, human beings, probably all living things, use a system called heuristics to catch a ball. It means that your brain is tuned to rapidly estimate what is going on and to refine those estimates as more information becomes available. So as you are running towards that ball, as it's flying through the air at high speed, your brain just guesses where it's going to be, but refines the guesses incredibly quickly, all without you being aware of what's going on. It's all completely subconscious. The most obvious example of why slowing down is wrong, if you want to speed up, is when considering most physical skills. If you want to do them faster, you have to practice them faster. If you want to run 100 meters fast, don't practice by running slowly. Swim fast, don't practice by swimming slowly. Even high motor skills like playing darts, for example, you don't get better at throwing darts at a dartboard by throwing them slowly, or even by going nearer to the dartboard. Now, of course, in all of these examples, you need to nail the basics first. The basic skill of running has to be nailed before you can go fast. But once you've done it, you don't focus on doing it slowly. Let's take this back to learning something on the guitar. If you want to play that riff, the first thing you need to be able to do is be able to remember the sequence of notes along with the timing. You have to do this slowly. There's no other way. Step by step, you piece together the notes so that you have complete certainty over what follows what and in what time. Timing is important at this stage as well as the notes. Once you have done this, then go for it. Here are some words from the virtuoso guitar player Martin Miller on this topic. What Martin advises is to get to know which tempo you can do something and then push it to a point just beyond that. You could go even further. Then spend some time practicing at the speed that you can't quite do. Of course you're going to make mistakes. You will make loads of them. But the really important thing is that you are aware of the mistakes. It's this feedback loop of knowing when the error is occurring that will allow your brain to make the continual and minute subconscious adjustments that will improve your next attempt. In fact, there is some randomization going on. The brain says, last attempt didn't work, try this. There is a big caveat here. You have to know when you're making a mistake. If you don't hear bad playing, then your brain will say, hey, this seems to be working. Let's fix these movements into the nervous system and don't change them. This is when you get permanent problems in your playing, by not realizing that you are making a mistake. This brings us back to Justin's mantra. If you repeat something without knowing that it is wrong, then it will become permanent. As a side note here, have you noticed that there are some people that seem to get good at playing incredibly quickly and others that hang around as an intermediate forever? There is some evidence that these people were not born with better motor skills, but are better at listening to the music that they play and therefore faster at completing the feedback loop to their brain. They also probably enjoy the music more because of this and therefore practice more. So what do I think really helps if you want to try to play faster? The first thing I'd say is pay attention. Sometimes we do things and we aren't really paying attention. We've all experienced driving somewhere in the car and then suddenly thinking that we don't remember doing it for the last 5 minutes. We're in autopilot. In fact, there's a great deal of research that shows that all humans spend the majority of their time in autopilot. Yes, that's a big deal for our lives. Paying attention takes effort and feels hard. What should you be paying attention to? Well, of course, it's the music and the sound. That's what you're developing here. While we can feel that playing guitar is a mechanical thing, in the end, it's all about the music. Point 2, notice when you are making a mistake. If you're paying attention, then you're going to notice when you're making a mistake. When we learn to catch a ball, it's easy to know when you make a mistake because you either caught it or you didn't. But when you're playing the guitar, there is more than just hitting the note. Was it on the beat? Did it sustain? How was the vibrato? How was the pick attack? And there might be a lot of notes that we're dealing with in rapid succession. This is much harder than you think, as you are concentrating on playing so much that your brain may not be able to hear the mistakes happening. This is a bit like when you sing badly, which I do, and it sounds great to you and terrible to everyone else. A couple of things might help with listening for mistakes. Firstly, play loudly. If you turn your amp up, you're going to hear every little mistake much more clearly. In fact, turning your amp up is a great way to improve your playing in general. Secondly, record yourself playing. It's pretty easy to just flip your phone over, hit record, and video is really useful as you might also spot some problems with your posture and so on. And the third one is get a teacher. An experienced teacher can rapidly listen to your mistakes, give you feedback and tell you what to focus on. Is it timing? Is it note clarity? And so on. The third big point I would suggest is focus on the music. Think about your playing musically. It's easy to get carried away with mechanics. Think to yourself, if I played that to someone else, would they enjoy it? As a piece of music, not as an exercise in mechanics. And then finally, organise your practice. This is mostly where I go wrong, because as most of you know, if you're on my channel, I'm not that great a player. You can't get faster at playing by talking about it. You have to be doing it over and over, hundreds of times, probably with a metronome. Measure your progress. Make a note of how fast you can go. I use a music slowdown app and play along with the record at different tempos. Play the piece at different tempos. If you can't make progress, go down 10 or 20 BPM to a place where you can do it. Play it a few times correctly, no mistakes, and then ramp back up to a speed that you can't quite do. My own experience with this, I recently improved my own playing by taking the time to record some videos for Instagram. I took a few old pieces that I thought I could play and sat down to record them. As soon as I did that, I realised how many mistakes I was making, and couldn't publish any of those videos as they were all rubbish. As soon as I knew what to do, I set to work with my metronome, and within a few hours I had nailed the pieces really well. It was the best practice that I'd done for years and rapidly improved my playing all round. I'd be really pleased to hear your views and comments in the comments below. And remember, hit like and subscribe if you've got anything out of this video. By the way, there may be some people who think that because I'm not a virtuoso player, that somehow my opinions are not valid or useful. This is the same as the fallacy that people like to have personal trainers at the gym that have ripped bodies. This is really poor logic. Some of the best sports coaches in the world do not have ripped bodies. In fact, it's more likely that they don't have great bodies because they spend all their time studying sports science. I once had a guitar teacher with amazing skills on the guitar, but he was an awful teacher because he didn't understand what he had done to become so skillful. Understanding how to do something is completely different to being good at it.